Damn, Ingenious made the beat. Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I'm, of course, your host, the Prince of Positivity, Coach Steve. Join with me, as always, my co-pilot, my partner in crime, Coach Luna. How we doing, brother?
Blessed, man. The state of serenity.
Man, man, say it again for the people in the back, bro.
State of serenity, man. Just a constant place of like peace and joy, bro.
That's definitely 1000% in line with the topic of the day is, again, just having an attitude for gratitude. Gonna be a lot of changes coming in 2026. So for those out there, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Once this episode drops, it will be a new year. We will be in 2026, which man, this has been a fast year, bro. A very fast year.
It really is. Because you know what's crazy? I just looked at our YouTube page and I seen that we had 72 subscribers now.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I
man.
think we were like 40 something at the beginning of the year, maybe. All right.
Oh, we were a little lower than that. I think we were in the
A little low.
30s. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were in
man.
the 30s around that time. Now we
See?
have 72 subscribers, man. That's
Shout out
huge.
to all 72 and those of you who may have not subscribed but still tune in. Appreciate
Absolutely. Absolutely. We appreciate the likes, we appreciate the comments, we appreciate it all. Again, just having an attitude for gratitude. Um, again, this episode is really special, not just because it's like the year end episode, but because it's just a moment of reflection, a moment of gratitude, a moment of perspective. This just kind of gives us, this season of life, this season of the podcast, the season of growth. This has reminded me and Coach Luna of something super simple but majorly powerful.
it.
You don't have to feel big to be used by God. A lot of us feel like we have to be in a certain place or a certain area or have certain things to do something big. Um, this episode about being having an attitude of gratitude, we kind of grounding this conversation in some sense in the story of Gideon from the Bible. Again, Gideon was a man that felt massively small, felt unqualified, felt unworthy, but yet this is the person that God chose to lead an entire nation. So, going to talk about that in in a lot of different areas. We're going to talk about again just how this pod has done some amazing things for the guests that we've brought on, for the members of this pod, for the listeners, for this entire community. Again, for every subscriber, every view, every comment, for those again that aren't in the metrics, again, we see you. We 1000% see you. We appreciate you. We are grateful for you. Again, it's just like Gideon. We may feel small at times. Again, this we're not doing this for the likes. We're not doing this for the subscribers. We're not doing this for to make money off YouTube and so on and so forth. It's not the purpose. The purpose of it is again to just give and serve. Super simple. Something that again that Jesus told us to do from go. It's our job on earth, and everybody tries to look for the meaning of life. That meaning of life, in my opinion, is to serve. Super simple. Coach, we can talk all day long about that attitude of gratitude, but I want to first and foremost ask the question to you. What's something throughout this year that you have been massively grateful for?
Man. Um, his covering for sure. Um, and It's been on my spirit all morning, really, man. I've really just really been grateful to um be able to hear the spirit and also have the opportunity to adhere.
Mm,
So like just that ability to slow down and recognize what is and what doesn't need to be, the ability to add or subtract, the ability to just be still in the moment and understand what direction he's trying to lead me. I'm extremely grateful for that. And, just continuing to guide my steps and also just with myself, just be able to make sure that I'm going in the direction that he's leading me. I'm extremely grateful for that for sure.
man, I have to definitely agree with that direction because being able to hear and being able to understand has been massive this year. Massive. That's been the turning point for me in my walk with Christ. I can tell you my daughter said something to me a couple days ago that was like I knew it was the Holy Spirit talking through her. She had made a comment. We were watching a video on YouTube about dogs, and she just randomly made this comment about why is it that dogs can follow directions better than people?
There's a level of humility and understanding there's an order, a hierarchy of order.
They don't question it, bro. They don't question it. You ever, I mean, if anybody that's had a dog and you told your dog to sit, they didn't go, well, why you want me to sit? Why you want me to stay? Why you want me to come? Why are you asking me to do this? Why are you asking me to do that? How many times in our life where God has asked us to do something that was maybe super minuscule, and we ask why, or we question whether or not it's something that we should be doing,
Or we just completely ignore.
all
Yeah,
because we think we know what's best.
sure, plenty of times.
It's again, it goes back to that story of Gideon. In Judges, I think it's in chapter 6, Gideon was hiding, like literally hiding from his oppressors. When an angel appeared to him and said, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Somebody that is hiding from his oppressors probably did not feel like a mighty warrior at all. Probably felt extremely unconfident, extremely insecure, didn't want no parts of any of that. That's why he was hiding. So Gideon says back to the angel, my clan is the weakest, and I'm the least in my family. So why would God essentially want to use me? He didn't see himself the way that God saw him. He he kind of thought of himself as there's so many other people, or I'm not in a position to be used the way that I would want to be used by God. But God again saw his purpose, saw what his real purpose was. What's powerful in what and what God thought about Gideon was that he looked at where he was going to be, not where he was. And I think that kind of just ties back into how this podcast has transitioned from the beginning of the year till now. Like, I didn't think at one point in time that this would be a life-changing pod. I thought this was going to be something more so that we're going to be giving to other people as opposed to getting from it. And I think we've received more from this podcast as individuals than we probably have given, which has made it easier to give more to everybody else, if that makes sense. There's a lot that I think about when we talk about this pod and we talk about how much it's helped guide us and get us to where we need to get to. I know that there's a ton of coaches that we've had on, and when I say coaches again, we understand this in a very general sense that anybody that we can learn something from is a coach, right? So we've been able to bring on people into this pod that have expanded our mindset, that has given us a good reset, that has given us an outlook on things that we probably didn't look at a certain way or a certain direction. And I'm pretty sure you've had people in your life that have helped you look at those things in those same type of facets. But I've just been massively grateful and massively humbled to be able to have the opportunity to build a pod with purpose, build a pod that relies on Jesus's direction, relies on the Holy Spirit's direction. I don't know about you, coach, but this just ignites the fire that much more for 2026. This makes it so that everything that we do, everything that we've done, and everything that we're going to do is deeply rooted in purpose and deeply rooted in Christ. Let's make this quick little transition because I wanted to talk about um, something that me and Coach Wash talked about, and we talked about sin, transgression, and iniquity. And before we go into that, I want to ask the question to you, Coach. Do you think or feel that all of those things are the same?
Mm, they have similarities for sure. But before you go into that, coach, I want to touch a little bit more on gratitude because I feel like it's a word that a lot of people use um, and don't really understand the biggest significance of gratitude. Gratitude is a heart posture. So when you go ahead and when you are thankful and you're grateful for whatever it is that you may be grateful or thankful for, it's you submitting and saying that these things have been given to me, these things have been bestowed upon me, and for that I am extremely grateful, right?
Mm, hmm.
And then from there, it's what you do with those things. It's how you steward those things. So you can be grateful for whatever. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for this. But then how are you stewarding that part? You get what I'm saying?
How you tend into it, right?
So exactly, for example, let's just we'll go with one realm with the physical part. Lord, I'm thankful. I'm grateful for my health. Okay. But then what are we doing outside of here that shows and stewards that say that I'm grateful for this? Am I intentionally poisoning my body? Am I putting myself in position? Am I eating this? Am I doing this? Am I doing these things that are truly showing that I am grateful for what has been bestowed?
Hmm.
Right. And that to me is a huge part of gratitude. That when we talk about attitude of gratitude, that's the essence. It's a heart posture. It's me saying that there is a higher power. There is God, that God is guiding me. I am grateful for everything He has bestowed upon me. Do what I want it to be, bigger, better, whatever. That doesn't matter. I am given exactly what I'm given at the amount that I'm given. And I am grateful for that. No matter if it's high, no matter if it's low, no matter if it's not where I want to be, that doesn't matter. It's what is given to me at this moment, and I'm grateful for it.
And a lot of times we feel in those situations, like you said, like you're not having, like, I'm grateful, but I'm
And that
grateful,
when you do
but
the,
right,
you literally just canceled everything else. You literally just canceled everything. You just gave a backhand compliment.
right. So like when you say I don't have enough, I started too late. The Joneses effect, right? You looking at
Mm-hmm.
what somebody else has, I think is something to be said about how God sees it when he says, I'm not looking for size, I'm looking for surrender. And that's what changes the heart posture, right?
I mean, that's the whole story of David. It's literally the whole story of David. His brothers were more mightier. His brothers were more everything that the status would say they need to be chosen and not David.
Same
David
story,
wasn't even.
Gideon. Yep.
It's the exact same. Like the Bible is consistently showing stories of the lowliest of men in society being chosen by the highest of all to say, you are the one that's going to lead my people. You are going to lead these people. You are the one that's going to do this. The Bible is just screaming of these stories. And that to me is so significant because we are blinded in a society where we justify people saying things or people doing things based off their societal status.
Mm,
And it's like that literally is contradictory to the word. You know what I'm saying? Like it
hmm
that if you read the word, you'll slowly begin to unplug yourself from this matrix. And when you start to read the word and the word starts speaking to you, you have no choice but to begin living in gratitude. It's not words of affirmation. Words of affirmation are
That's
fleeting.
vastly different.
Words of affirmation are dependent. Words of affirmation are conditional. The Bible and His Word is solid, unconditional, consistent through thousands and thousands of years, no matter Jew, Gentile, color, creed, whatever. It is consistent, time and time through. And this pod serves as a reflection of that
hmm
because of the transition that everybody has been able to witness. If you've been following along, this ain't an act. Those of
No.
us that have our friends and family, they see it themselves. Those of you who have tuned in, you hear it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a work that we just, all right, here's a blueprint of exactly. No, man, His word helped us, changed us, and is giving us the ability to translate things into a real life current way of dealing with things. And that is, man, that is a blessing. That is huge.
Massive, bro. Massive. It's it's without words. It's without words. And
So
again,
when you wonder like why we're such at a why we're in a peace a state of peace and a peace of joy, it's not because we're free of all trials and tribulations. I'm free of the word because I know who I have, and I know that although this may look muddy right now, I know who is going to get me out of this. I know what this may be trying to teach me. I know who is going to guide me out of this. I may have put myself in this situation, but I know he is going to help me out.
part of the sharpening. Part of the
100%.
sharpening, man. Is I said this to a friend of mine a while ago who's going through some stuff, and I told him I was like, "You think a pencil likes being in the sharpener?"
If a pencil had feelings, I guarantee you would not like to be in that because it's like
Absolutely
the most
not.
vulnerable. If you look at a pencil, it's the most vulnerable point that has to go into it, and it has to go ahead and get grinded and molded and just consistently beat up
Exactly. It has to get
to be
sharpened at that point
to then just be useful,
to serve its purpose, right?
to just serve its lowly little purpose.
So
I mean, what if the pencil actually feels fine with it? Because now it has a reason to do what it has a reason of being. Because if it doesn't go into the grinder, then it's just never going to get used. It's stowed away.
it can be used for only half of its purpose or none of its purpose. That's it. So those sharpening moments is be grateful because you could not be used. You cannot be, put in those situations and not have the opportunity to come out better. It's the whole point.
Man, coach, this is actually kind of funny. I was watching a video the other day, and it basically was touching on the hustler's mindset is
Mm.
against is against the Bible.
Please expound on that.
Well, the hustler's mindset is basically it's never enough. It's always, man, I gotta grind, I gotta do this, I gotta grind, I gotta do this, I gotta make this much, I gotta make this much, and then even when it's not, I gotta go more, I gotta go more, I gotta go more. And for the longest, man, I was guilty of that, and I feel like majority of society and majority of men in our society, especially in the capitalist country, fall into that rat race, right?
Absolutely.
And what ends up happening is you literally become ungrateful because what has been given to you, you're saying, I need more. I want
I
more.
gotta keep doing it, right?
Gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. And what ends up happening, unbeknownst, is that you just begin to, you don't, and it starts very small. You stop going to church on Sundays. You stop. You are grinding from sun up to sundown. You forget to pray. You're not reading your word. You start neglecting your time with your loved ones, and those things again. Everything compounds, good or bad, and those things begin to compound, and then you gain the whole world, but you lost everything that you were once extremely grateful for.
So we talking about this compounding effect, right? And before we get into that, I want to kind of go into this section really quick of you talking about this hustler's mentality. I almost look at it like a lot of us in life, until you've actually figured it out, right? Until you actually literally surrendered, we end up playing life like checkers. If you ever played checkers, none of the pieces, they're just moving pieces, right?
There's no real strategy to it.
It's just moving pieces, right? My job is to just jump pieces. That's about it, right? I get to the end of the board, yeah, I get to, I get a king, so on and so forth. I get to do a little bit more, right? But it's no real strategy to this game. True strategy, right?
Mm.
Instead of playing chess, and it's something super interesting about playing chess. And I had, again had this conversation with Coach Lloyd was people tend to believe that the pawns are the lowliest pieces on the board.
100% based off of what it can do and how many of them that you have. They're more expendable.
Initially.
Correct.
Initially. But what happens when you get that pawn to the other side of the board?
Yes, I'm back. Oh no,
Twice as
later.
much as you. twice as much as you is what you had, right? Because
Yeah,
that
for sure.
pawn now can become a king, a queen, a bishop, a rook, a knight. It can become anything on the board that you want it to be. Anything.
And no other, none of the other ones have that ability.
Nobody else has that ability to do that. The lowliest piece, the piece that again people disregard. People are really quick to sacrifice a lot of pawns right away. When this is could be the strongest piece on your entire game board. So I look at those type of situations now. This has even made me a better chess player because I understand this a whole lot more now.
Bro, you have no idea. In my head, just now, I literally just started thinking of different strategies the next time I play.
So because again, it opens your eyes up a little bit
Because
more
I
because
always want to free up the queen and let the queen do her thing.
let me get the queen out there, let me get the bishop out there, let me get my knight out there, let me get some pieces that I know can do a whole lot more. But if I use these pawns the way that I know that I can use them, I will
I
get
can do some
more
damage.
back.
I can do some real damage.
Exactly. I can get a whole lot more back that I never thought that I would be able to get. All because, again, I understand their worth. And again, that's how God sees us. We
That's
see
good.
these are the lowliest pieces or the lowliest things, that small grain of sand that doesn't really have any real meaning. That's how we think of it. Where he's looking at it as like, you don't even know your potential. Like, you don't know what you could potentially become.
Hmm.
Like, you can be something so much greater if you just appreciated where you were right now. So, say all that to essentially say, having that attitude of gratitude, having that mindset of being grateful of where you are, no matter where it is on the board. You might be in a jam. You might you might go into 2026 still in a jam, but you still have an opportunity to be grateful. You still have an opportunity to keep going and keep doing, right? And keep trying. Because there's some people that ain't here no more that don't have that opportunity to keep going and keep trying. They say people in hell would love a drop of water on the tongue. One more opportunity. You have that opportunity because you got woken up this morning.
Every day is a grateful reminder that, hey, you got chose today. Even though everything that you
Yep.
may been doing, currently doing, you're he still chose you for a better purpose today. Man, it's funny.
100%.
It's funny that this conversation is in a line today, man, because I was literally having a conversation with Bree yesterday, and those of you who follow me on my Instagram personally, but that doesn't really matter. But like, I went 364 days out of 365, no drinking. And what's crazy about that, Coach, is, dude, prior to this year, there's not a dollar amount in the world that somebody could have bet me that would have had that ability to do that. There's not a single dollar amount in the world that could have said, yeah, you could have bet me $1 billion and you would have probably, in my mind, I was like, you keep that because that's probably not happening,
Right, right.
right? And, it was very eye opening to see like all the things that kind of led to that ability to let go.
Hmm.
All the small segments and things. And we were talking yesterday specifically about like how when we finally moved in together, how my constant what's the word I want to say? Like this was my big hurdle, man. My this was my battle.
Mm-hmm.
And she got to see it firsthand, right? And it was like an increment of ways that I was trying to fight this and combat this thing constantly. Boom, boom, boom. All right, well, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do this. And the thing that kind of got me was when we specifically started talking about. It got to a point where I would sleep in the living room, and she would sleep in the bedroom because I smelled like, you know what I'm saying? I smelled like a bar pretty much, and I didn't want to go in there. And we would still go to church that next morning. She told me, she was like, I can smell your pore. I can smell that coming out your pores while we at church. And I immediately, bro, I just like, I took that and I was like, man, I wonder how many people I walked by greeting me with a smile and just looked me in the eye or stood right next to me and smelled that exact same thing. And not a single time did I ever get judged. Not a single time did I ever get told, like, you're an issue, you're a problem. No, no, no. I felt that conviction coming from the Holy Spirit. It was my job to go ahead and learn how to listen to it. And dude, I like I get I get teared up sometimes, bro, because it's like to me that's like the true essence of God's mark and blessing on your life is the ability of people to not give up on you and see greater in you than
And you
you
see in
than
yourself,
you even
right?
see in yourself, than you even think about yourself. Because again, a person who truly loves themselves or loves what God has given them, you, your ability to be, if you truly love that, you won't take it for granted. And looking back, man, it's like, dang, I did not steward this well. I was not grateful for this. I wasn't.
That's
How
because you
could
saw
I?
yourself as the pawn, bro, and they saw you more, they saw you mightier than that. They saw you
100%,
mightier than that, bro.
100%, man. And you know, it's a like I said, man, gratitude is a heart posture, bro. Gratitude is 1,000% you saying, man, I wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't be able to feel any of this. I wouldn't be able to be in this mindset if it wasn't for him. That's
Listen,
gratitude.
well, I'm blessed again. I'm glad that blessed I have you as a co-pilot, bro, because you know how to help navigate while we flying the ship, man. You know how to help navigate it because this goes back to what I just talked about a few minutes ago. That difference between sin, transgression, and iniquity.
And it's funny because I got that pulled up right here. Can I go ahead and answer it now?
Please do.
So I just went on Google and I just typed in sin, transgression, and iniquity. Just point blank,
Basic,
real
right?
simple.
Because
Sin.
that's what we got to do. We got to give everybody the definition first.
So it says as sin is simply missing the mark. You're not living up to the standard. Transgression is it's rebellion. It's a willful act of breaking a known law or command. And then iniquity is perversion. It's the deep seated corrupt state or pattern of deliberately sinning that leads to guilt and separation from God.
When you talk about those three, at one point in my life, I was like, that it's the same thing. No, it's a compound effect.
Mm-hmm.
We all are born into sin. That's surface level. That's the surface level. The transgression is now crossing the line. Now we're intentionally crossing the line. Can you be redeemed from that? Absolutely. You most certainly can. Iniquity gets to the point now where that heart posture ain't there no more.
Coaches,
Now it's psychological, right?
when it got to me, it was like the sin is the thought. The transgression is the act, and the iniquity is the consistently doing it over and over and over, over.
That's the you now.
That's who you.
That's who you are. Right. That's your root now. Right. That's your root. That gratitude doesn't excuse sin, but it keeps you humble enough to confront it.
Mm-hmm.
This is now who you are as a person now.
Gratitude fights pride.
100%.
Gratitude 100% combats pride.
100%. 100%. That's the changes that stops you from giving into those transgressions. I, I just celebrated 41 years on the 28th.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Another day, another year around the sun. I got a lot of brothers that ain't here anymore. They didn't get a chance to hit 40. I know you got a lot of brothers that ain't here no more. They didn't get a chance to hit 40.
Off.
When I think about those individuals and I think about how blessed I am to be where I am, to learn the lessons that I've learned, those are the reasons and those are some of the things, just some of the things that stop me from having those iniquity moments and having those transgressions.
It's like, how could I not want to help you? How could I not want to extend this feeling and help? How could I not want, like, I can't fathom the idea of not being able to like have a conversation and be like, hey man, share the good news. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
it's, how can I not?
It's changed everything. It's changed the depth of conversations. It's changed the purpose of conversations. It's changed the intentionality behind conversations. It's changed a lot of stuff. When I tell you there have been multiple conversations, coach, multiple conversations where I've had people come out of the woodwork. I'm talking about at work, at at home, friends, just random conversations that I've had with people where people have said like there was something that I said, something that I did, or something that I showed that they were like, I need to get closer to God. I need to start looking at things differently. I need to start focusing more on this. I need to stop doing these things. Like the intentionality behind people's mindset now, just because I've changed my heart posture, has been different.
100%. I
I,
mean, it's like the pastor always says, man, the clearest reflection that a person who does not know the Bible, does not know God, the clearest reflection of that is looking at the life of someone who is a believer, who calls themselves a believer or calls themselves a follower. A lot of people are looking and wanting, but they see the contradictory people that live, and there's no difference in that person's life and their life. So there's like, so what do I need to follow for?
Facts. Now,
And that,
before you go on, coach, I also want to clarify. This does not mean that a Coach Steve or a Coach Luna are perfect.
heck no, far from
This
it.
far, far, far from it.
Or he
Like
working hard every day.
every single day. But again, that's the point. That's the point of it right there. It's the point of it. The point of it is that we're trying to work on it every day. We're okay being sharpened. Where at one point in time, neither of us were okay being sharpened because that meant
Being judged.
this is gonna hurt.
Yeah,
Right, right, exactly. I don't want this right now. I don't want to be sharpened. I don't want to go through this. But I'm okay being in this process now. I'm okay being in the fire now. I'm okay being in the furnace
I know
because
I'm
I
not.
understand
It's not my battle.
there it is.
This is only he's only putting me through this so he can help me. And it's probably answering a prayer that I prayed a long time ago. You know, how good is it to actually be living in a prayer, currently living in the prayers that you prayed for? And I told my wife,
Man,
I told my wife yesterday when we were talking, I was like, I prayed for this. I legitimately prayed for him to give me the strength and the ability to not have to feel like I need to drink. I prayed for this. I prayed for us to be able to move into a house.
that's actually like a really good point, Coach. I need you to say that again because that resonated. Like, how many of us have prayed for something and has taken a second to sit in
And think about the prayers that
the
you prayed and that prayers that have been answered. And how could you not be grateful? How could you not? Again, it's you having to find that ability to take yourself out and put yourself to the side and be like, yo, I didn't do any of this because of me. I mean, none of this is because of anything that I did. This is him. This is his powers at work. This is him doing the things that needed to be done certain ways for the outcome to be as what it is. Nothing is by mistake, man. Not a yes or something as a signature or anything that you get approved for. That's not by mistake. There's a process that things have to go through for you to be able to get that yes. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, Steve signed. Heck yeah, here it is. It's not like that at
hmm
all. Like there's a refinement. There's things that have to occur, and for you to understand that, bro, you can't. You. There's no other way to grasp that concept without understanding. Like, man, I'm grateful for that job that you applied for, the job that you didn't get. That now you're looking back and be like,
Man, like I'm glad I didn't get
look,
that.
yeah, dodge the bullet. You know, bro. I remember vividly. Quick story time, dog. I remember vividly before I took the job at Ridge, I put a deadline on something. I said, Lord, if I don't get an email by 3:15 p.m., then I know that this job is not for me. Coach, I kid you not, on everything that I love, I got an email at 3:14 p.m. that said, your application has been approved. We want you to come here, blah, blah, blah. And then that's when I took the job at Ridge because I was in the parking lot of the school. And
You
I
know
was,
what's funny about what you just
and
said?
then that's when I got the job and started working with Lloyd. And
And
coach,
and
at that time, my relationship with God isn't nowhere near as good as it is right now. But then again, his covering is constant. And you got to understand with the gratitude piece, it's like there's a level of authority that you need to start letting him govern. Not a level. You need to let him
mm-hmm,
100% govern your life.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And you got to go ahead and start understanding, like, man, none of this is by mistake. Dog, at 3:14, when I said, Lord, if I don't get an answer by 3:15, boy, if that don't speak, I don't know what else can. Like I got countless examples of God's covering in my life. Just in 2024. Remember with the whole situation with my car multiple
Yep.
times, and I told Bree, and I talked about it with Rack this past weekend because he came down with his wife, and we got to kick it over there. And we had dinner and we talked, and I told him I was like, bro, that was God's covering to say you're not ready for that. I'm protecting you from going out to San Marcos because you're not ready for that. You're not ready to go out there and face that. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna see your friends. You're gonna want to drink, and then boom.
Something
Now
different, right?
now you're back at square one.
But he moved you a certain way.
Moved me a certain way and pointed my attention elsewhere. One question Rack had asked
Mm-hmm.
me, he was like, so like, what do you do now, bro? I'm like, bro, I kick it with Bree. I work out. I go to work. I read my Bible. bro, my life is so simple. Bro, I
And
don't
the
even
crazy
read
part
as
is you
many.
probably don't even feel different to you. Like
I
it
don't,
don't feel like I
it
have to
doesn't
do
feel
these
different.
other things, right?
It feels orderly. I feel like I'm doing the things that um I'm giving attention to the things that were bestowed upon me based off my hierarchy of order, which first is God, then my wife, and my family. And those three are my big three. So everything else after that is because I have the ability to. But if it's not those first three, those are my first three priorities. Period.
It's something to be said real quick, and I want to go back to that 315 remark. You told God, if this not for me, then by 315, make it be for me or not for me, right?
Coach, I'm telling you, dog. Even with this house and another house, I
Mm-hmm.
told Bree, I've prayed a prayer and I will tell you whether or not that prayer gets answered based off of when we go to the house. Right? So the first house
Mm-hmm.
we go to, because God has always talked to me with rain. Whether rain is in the forecast or not,
Wow.
I get to the house up the street, and immediately when we get to the house, it started raining. So I said, Bree, my prayer was answered. Right? We come to this house, same exact thing. No rain in the forecast, started raining. Coach,
Crazy.
I told my wedding planner 7 months in advance. I told her in December of 2021 that on July 7th of 2022, expect rain. She was like, but it's not, it's going to be the summer, blah, blah, blah. I said, ma'am, I'm telling you to expect rain. I'm not guessing. I'm telling you. Coach, guess what happened from 10 to noon?
Rain.
Pouring down,
Rain, bro.
pouring down raining on the wedding day. And Bree already knew. And you know what her prayer was? Her prayer, and she told me this after, she was like, I just prayed that if it, because I knew it was going to rain, I just prayed
Mm-hmm.
that it didn't rain too much to where the humidity was too hot for us to have our reception outside. I mean, our wedding outside. And sure enough, coach, by the time the wedding started, it was clear skies.
And you
It
cool.
was everything, man. And then, you know, I've recently kept hearing our pastor talk about the feel of the Holy Spirit is like a feeling of like a sudden wind. Shad could tell you this. When he was reading our vows and he basically made us become husband and wife, a wind literally blew right where we were standing as he was talking.
Bro,
Suddenly, bro, and it wasn't windy. Dog,
it's crazy.
it's just so crazy how like God has to like show himself, and you just have to have those moments to
Yo, he's showing
slow
out
down,
right now, bro. He's showing
and
out.
and be grateful, man. Like he always is showing you where he is, who he is, and how much he loves you. How much insignificant you may think you are, but how significant you are to him. In his hands, nothing is insignificant. Nothing.
Bro, you didn't question. You didn't question. You needed confirmation.
100%.
You needed confirmation.
But there's
And
no wrong with that part.
it's not that you didn't believe, you just needed some reassurance, right?
100%.
And that's humility, that's not defiance. And I want to go back really quick to the story of Gideon because you just made a comment about rain. Gideon asked God in Judges chapter 6, he asked God, if Israel is to be saved by my hand, let the fleece be wet with dew on the ground, and let the fleece be wet and the ground around it be dry. The next morning, the fleece was soaked and the ground was dry. Then he asked again. Because again, like, could be coincidence.
Yeah, one off.
One off, right? Let me ask again. God, if it's supposed to be saved by my hand, let the fleece be dry and let the ground be wet around it. The next day, the fleece was dry and the ground was wet. Both times, both times, God confirmed what he said. He asked and he received. Both times. It wasn't that he was testing God out of rebellion because he was afraid. He was inexperienced because he again don't know, and he was just literally aware of the responsibility that was being placed on him. Your direction of where you were going for your job, sorry, for your career that he was putting in front of you, for the direction that he wanted your life to go, for the house that you are going to be building. He literally put those things in place for you and literally directed your steps. You questioned a
God,
lot,
man,
which is fine.
I
And
questioned a lot because of the person and the mindset that I was in.
the pawn that you were,
1,000%.
bro, bro, that's glory be to God, yo.
100%, man. And again, though, it's not it's not like to just call it a mindset shift is so like small.
Right,
It's a
right.
complete life shift. It's when you truly surrender and you pray the prayers, pray bold prayers. Pray that prayer that I said, Lord, take this a bit, take this like FOMO, take this all from me. Like get it,
Hmm.
take it away. I don't want it no more. It's hard to I literally I started just thinking back just now, bro. I used to have to try to put sleep noises, like raindrop things on YouTube to try to help me
Leave the
sleep.
TV on, right?
I had to try to put like aromatic lavender smells in the house so that it could help me like sleep and all this.
Hmm.
Bro, I get the best sleep ever now, bro. And I tell people all the time that ask me, like, how bad, blah, blah, blah. I was like, bro, I have to sleep with me. I have to sleep with my thoughts. I have to
Yep.
sleep with this gut feeling. I have to sleep with this. And I got to a point where I was tired of wrestling with that. It's like, bro, how can I explain to you and keep you and your version of me happy when I'm not happy? I gotta go to sleep with that, dog. I gotta go to sleep with me feeling like I'm not living up to the standard that he has placed upon me. I gotta answer that call. I gotta live to that.
Yep.
I gotta do that. It's not for you to understand. And
Yep.
if you can't handle this new version of who I am now, then that's what it is. It is what it is. Then I understand what this friendship and what this everything was built off
What it
of.
meant, what it actually meant.
I understand that now, and that's okay. Still love you. I'm not going to move from this person that I'm been asked to be. I was asked of this from me 15 years ago. Then I went ahead and let it go. I went ahead and went to the wayside.
It's hard for a lot of people to have that conversation with God and feel like they're not either testing God, like if you real, do this for me. If this is what it is, do this for me. And I think a lot of times, I think especially in your situation, hell, even in my situation, like it's not that you asking, are you real or do you exist or can you do these things? I think it's more so, am I hearing you correctly? And that's a massive difference between the two. That's massively different because I I want to make sure that I'm following you the way that you want me to follow you, not asking you, are you real, or is this
Yeah,
supposed
I've
to
been.
work out, or is this, does this, like I'm not asking those questions. That's that's not even a thought. The thought is, am I hearing you the way that I need to hear you? Am I following you the way that I need to follow you? Is this the right direction? And you'll know because he'll give you that Holy Spirit to talk to you and let you know what direction you're supposed to be going in. Because you'll get that conviction, you'll get that understanding, you'll get that feeling of this don't feel right.
Yeah, 1,000%, dog. 1,000%. And man, just to think back even more, I told Rat that when I had that panic attack, I felt like that was God letting me see what it felt like not having his cover. That 15 minutes, dog, was the worst 15 minutes of my life. I never felt that before. I never want to feel that again. I never would want anybody to feel that again. And mind you, I've lost countless amount of friends. I've felt pain, but dog, I've never in my life felt that. And I at that moment I was like, wherever I'm going is not where I'm needing to go. And that's when that led me to that. Led me to my knees, bro. It led me to my knees.
Changes everything.
Changes everything, man. Because it's like, man, I'm tired of battling. I can't battle. Can't win. This is only going to lead me to a grave. And
That says a lot, bro. That says a lot because again, it wasn't you getting the answers that led you to do what you need to do. It was your obedience that led you to do what you needed to do. And that's the difference. It was like I wasn't seeking an answer from you to say, okay, now I'll do it. Right? It's like when your parents tell you something and you're like, yeah, they always telling me stuff. Oh, I found out that they was actually right about what they were saying. So okay, I'll do it now, right?
mm-hmm.
It wasn't that. It was they told me to do something even though I don't feel equipped, even though I don't feel confident, even though I don't feel like I have everything in place or have all the stuff that I would want to do those things, I'm just going to continue to move forward like I'm supposed to, like the pond, so that I can move to that different level, that next level. Because again, he doesn't see you where you are. He sees you what you're going to be. Man, grateful, bro.
Yeah, man. I was just Googling something and it helped me kind of think back to what one of the stories my pastor always talked about. And he talked about the example of Adam and how even after Adam sinned, right,
Mm-hmm.
God still sought him to the point, Adam, where are you? He's literally looking for him. He already knew what had happened.
It's like
Still,
why are you hiding?
why are you hiding?
I still see you. It's like I still see you. I ain't went nowhere.
And God, man, and my thing for 2026, and I don't know if this is the route you wanted to go with, but this is what's on my heart. My want to for everybody is stop trying to use self help books, use motivational little IG reels, whatever the case is. If it's not him, let it go. If it's not
Facts.
advice from him, from the book, from the Holy Spirit, things that are placed upon your heart, let it go. Because you're going to end up in that rat race. You're going to end up in that ladder of error, from sin to transgression to iniquity. And then we just start justifying things. And these are laws and things that are unjustifiable. It is what it is. It's written. It is what it is. We can't change that.
Man,
Just follow it, man. Just
just
follow it.
follow it. Just follow it. This has been this episode has literally been about reflection.
Yeah.
Just over the course of the year, we've seen so much growth. We've seen not just even in the podcast, just in ourselves and massively in people around us.
Mm-hmm.
We've been able to have conversations about identity, about discipline, about faith, about healing, about purpose, about sharpening. Again, we've learned what real growth actually looks like, and that real growth is slow, and it is uncomfortable sometimes, and it is deeply personal, and it's going to take time to get to where you need to get to, and that's okay. That's okay. I challenge everybody to do something that Luna just said a little bit ago, was take a second and think about the prayers that you have asked God for and see what he's done, how far he's taken you, and sit in that for a moment. And tell me that that doesn't give you more motivation to get closer with him. Tell me that doesn't give you more motivation to start reaching for him more and having a better relationship with him. Now, one time in the Bible, it says that you not supposed to question God. Have your conversations, have your questions. He wants you to have those questions. He wants you to he wants you to have those difficult conversations. Just be open to listening to the answers that's given to you. Because it might just end up saving your life. That's what the end of the year has been for us. This has been a sharpening season for sure. Happy and proud to go into, grateful to go into 2026, where we continue this sharpening process. We continue to grow and continue to bring you guys content that not only helps us continue to grow as a pod, but helps you hear at least one thing that helps you get to the next level, helps you get someone else to the next level. And as we close out this year, again, gratitude isn't something, again, like Luna said, that we just say. It's something that we do, having a different posture.
Mm-hmm.
This podcast is massively involved, bro. It's massively evolved, like in so many different ways. In so many different ways. It gave us a lot of different understanding of being vulnerable, which again, I'm massively grateful for your vulnerability, my vulnerability, Coach Wash's vulnerability. I'm grateful for the depth that you're able to provide. I'm grateful for the purpose that we've been able to provide each other and others on this pod. I'm grateful to the people that have been able to jump on this pod and give us their own perspective about life and their own philosophies about, coaching and sharing their story about how they've gotten closer and how they've built their relationship with God. I'm thankful for everybody that has supported this platform. I'm thankful for the listeners. I'm thankful for the builders on this podcast. Again, I'm massively grateful for where we are, which means if we are massively grateful for what we have, we're able to steward it better. So, again, Coach Luna, you got any closing remarks before we get out of here, sir? For 2020,
Now, man, just
2025, bro?
that gratitude is also rooted in your alignment. Realign yourself, see where your alignment really is. Where are you in this? Where is he in this? And don't lie. Is he number one?
Facts.
And then what follows? You shouldn't be number two. Shouldn't be number three. Should be. Probably shouldn't even be number four. You got to learn how to bring yourself into a place of humility and understand that you serve. You are a servant. Make sure you do those things.
Absolutely.
What is it he's placing on your heart that you need to go do? How do you do it? Gotta talk to him. You got to pray those prayers.
Absolutely. Again, gratitude isn't something about feeling ready. It's just trusting the one who calls us to be ready when he calls. Again, if you like what you heard, smack that like and subscribe button if you want to hear more from your Coach Life fam. Wish you guys a very happy new year. Stay grateful, stay obedient, stay growing, stay positive, my friends.